You ready? You want to take a question or two here before
Love
we head
to.
out?
Love to.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of preface this one. I'm gonna pare it down because it's quite a long question from Mark here. So essentially, what Mark's asking here is what and I'll take that off there since it's blocking our face. But what have you seen since COVID started and the impact in the resist refuse?
Well, that's a great question. At the very beginning of this pandemic, back in the late winter and spring, early summer of 2020, um, we saw a lot of situations where a parent refused to facilitate children transitioning between homes because of a fear of COVID. And we saw this even more in cases where the parents didn't live in the same geographic area, and some kind of flying or train or some kind of transportation was needed. And the courts didn't have any. There was no precedent, and the courts were closed except for emergencies. And different counties handled things differently. So COVID was invoked in a number of cases to limit the amount of time a kid would spend with a parent per the court orders. That is to say, the court order said this is what you'll do, but it didn't happen that way because of one parent's thinking about things during COVID. It especially was a lightning rod when when masking began, and so a parent would say, well, mom doesn't have the mask up and I'm not going to send the kids to mom's house, or mom's around her parents and her parents won't mask up. And then we had another kind of spate of that when vaccines began and certain people got vaccinated and unvaccinated. It's still a knot that I think we're untying, because there can be situations in which a parent's concerns about a child's health are legitimate because of COVID. A child who might be at risk, or a parent who might have a job. I mean, I had a case where the mother was an emergency room physician and the father was in the business world. So the mother had to go to work every day in an emergency room. What was walking into emergency rooms? COVID. The father refused to send the kids to mom because mom was exposed to COVID every day.
There's a couple very famous issues that happened around doctors and nurses in family courts.
So, but I would say in the cases I've seen where resist refuse is present, I haven't seen COVID as the primary driver or source of the resist refuse. It might be something that has gotten, it may have made things get worse, or it may be another tactic that's being used.
Mm-hmm.